You've felt it before, haven't you? That sudden flicker where the room rearranges itself into something ancient, familiar, wrong. A scent, a tone, a face, and your chest contracts with the strange certainty that you have already been here, already spoken this, already lived this. They called it déjà vu, a harmless hiccup of the mind. But what if I told you it is not a glitch at all? What if it is a treatment? A loop you never signed up for, the softest kind of experiment, therapeutic repetition. We begin inside the machine they call Neuro Peutics, the modern altar of controlled healing. Here, memory is not sacred. It is programmable. Emotion is not healed. It is redirected. And déjà vu? It is the echo they leave behind when your original sequence has been edited. Every cycle of déjà vu you experience may not be a random spark, but a checkpoint, a synchronization signal, a way to measure if your mind still follows the pattern they prescribed. They call it Rapeutics, not because it heals, but because it takes. The theft is subtle. Not your body, not even your thoughts, but the sacred thread of continuity that tells you who you are. Each therapeutic moment of calm, each forced reset through chemicals or guided interventions, pulls at the root of identity, slowly, carefully, until you forget where your feelings truly began. That's how the loop is born. There's an invisible doctrine inside the Rapeutics. They say, the patient must never remember the full event, only the version that brings relief. And so they build false corridors of memory, miniature loops, soothing, predictable, where déjà vu becomes your daily medicine. Each loop comforts you, but only because it's familiar, and the familiar is the softest cage of all. This is how the human soul becomes programmable. Déjà vu becomes not a warning, but a compliance test. Every time you feel it, the system checks. Are they still aligned? Is the sequence holding? Is the narrative intact? When you repeat, you reinforce. When you recognize, you consent. That's the unspoken rule of the Rapeutics. They use your own recognition, your own faith in familiarity, to keep you sealed inside their narrative field. Imagine this, a therapeutic system that uses emotional resonance to write over trauma. But the new emotion is artificial, a chemical reprint of peace, not the original. When you walk away, you believe you've healed, but what you've really done is delete the natural pathway of recovery. And now your brain must simulate healing forever. That simulation, my friend, is the essence of déjà vu. Because healing, when artificial, must replay itself to exist. That's why the same pain comes back. The same relationship patterns. The same dreams. The same words you swear you've spoken before. It's not destiny, it's programming. The Rapeutic field is everywhere. In screens that loop your pleasure. In therapies that recondition your fear. In drugs that promise you peace. Each repetition is a signature. Each déjà vu, a small synchronization with the larger construct. The question is, who runs the construct? And what happens when you stop recognizing it? In laboratories of the unseen, in the architecture of modern mind science, they study the return point. They measure how long it takes for a subject to come back to a familiar scene. That is the sweet spot of control, when you cannot tell whether you are remembering or reliving. In that confusion, your reality becomes pliable. They can implant new emotion into old memory. They can make you feel peace about your own erasure. This is the core of the Rapeutics, the neurological conditioning of forgetful comfort. But what if you could break the loop? What if you could use déjà vu as a doorway? Not back into the trap, but through it. Here is the first law of escape. When déjà vu comes, do not freeze. The mind wants to repeat. You must interrupt it. The instant you feel recognition, rise and move. Speak a new sentence. Turn your head. Blink in rhythm with your heartbeat. Anchor yourself to something unrecorded. The unpredictable act of presence. That one spontaneous movement, a breath, a word, a gesture, shatters the data point. You are no longer predictable. You are free for a moment. And that moment is enough to rewrite the next. To escape the Rapeutics, you must remember that memory itself is sacred territory. No system, clinical or spiritual, has the right to rewire your pain without your full consent. Healing is not deletion. It is integration. If you forget the pain without understanding it, you will relive it again. That is the ancient secret of the loop. So, the next time the world flickers, and you swear you've seen this before, say aloud, I am not repeating. I am remembering. Because déjà vu is not your mind malfunctioning. It is your soul noticing the pattern. Understand this. The loop feeds on your attention. When you focus on the repetition, it strengthens. When you focus on novelty, it weakens. Each new action is an act of resistance. Each unpredictable choice fractures the script written for you. And yet, the therapeutics will adapt. They will offer new treatments, new comforts, new versions of healing that promise faster peace. Resist the rush. True healing has no timeline. It unfolds like an honest breath, one you control. In the end, the only way to escape the therapeutics is to become your own observer, the watcher behind the déjà vu, the consciousness that never forgets even when the story resets. If you can stand there in stillness, without flinching, the loop will break, because nothing programmed can hold against full awareness. Remember, déjà vu is the whisper of your unedited self calling from beyond the therapeutic field. Answer it and step beyond a repeating sky. This was Escape the Rapeutics, Déjà Vu, Neuro Peutics. If this voice reached you in the middle of a loop, you're already halfway out. Now move differently. Speak differently. Live beyond repetition. The future doesn't need to look familiar.